Roughly 95% of people will work for 40 years, earn a reasonable middle-class income, and reach the very end of their careers without genuine financial independence. They are not destitute in the absolute sense. They have accumulated something, but they reach the finish line entirely dependent on a continued paycheck, the support of family, or institutional safety nets like Social Security to survive. It is natural to assume these individuals suffered catastrophic bankruptcies, made massive errors in judgment, or gambled their savings away. Most of them did no such thing. Financial ruin rarely announces itself with a sudden explosion. It accumulates quietly through daily, invisible default behaviors that compound across decades. Warren Buffett points out that this drift is caused by 7 specific normalized habits, and we have to name them to correct them. Arriving at retirement without wealth is almost never a failure of intellect. It is the failure to recognize the microscopic, unconsidered patterns slowly draining your capital. The first trap is how we evaluate affordability. The consumer economy has successfully trained most people to think about purchases exclusively in terms of monthly payments, rather than total cost. This chart shows the stark difference between the monthly illusion and total reality. A $40,000 car feels manageable looking at an $800 monthly block, but the total cost approaches $53,000. This hides the real damage, absorbing interest, carrying depreciation, and losing investment returns. This distorted lens gets even worse when we look around at our peers. We constantly compare our own financial status to the visible consumption of the people in our social circle. The problem with this comparison is a massive blind spot. We see what our neighbors drive and where they vacation, but we have absolutely zero visibility into their actual savings rate or the credit card balances funding that lifestyle. Adjusting your spending to match the people around you means that you are likely calibrating to an absolute fiction. Evaluating your life through monthly installments and peer comparisons guarantees one specific outcome. You will successfully optimize for the appearance of wealth, completely sacrificing the reality of it. The next major error occurs when people confuse feeling financially engaged with actual productive behavior. Constantly checking your portfolio, consuming daily market opinions, watching financial entertainment feels like research. It is actually just noise that prevents deliberate study of investment history and business mechanics. This busyness leads straight into a deeply destructive habit, the belief that trading more frequently and reacting to the news cycle produces better investment outcomes. This graph maps 2 diverging investment trajectories over 30 years. Research shows female investors outperform men by roughly 1 percentage point per year, creating a massive terminal wealth gap. Men trade more aggressively, introducing constant friction that bleeds capital through transaction fees and taxable events. In the pursuit of long-term wealth, excessive activity does not signal competence. It is a mechanical flaw that interrupts your compounding returns and steadily enriches your broker instead. A similar slow drain happens when we accept high levels of consumer debt simply because our middle-class environment considers car loans and credit card balances completely normal. The interest rate on a loan is a visible expense, but the true penalty of debt is the massive loss of future optionality. Every dollar of future income already committed to a monthly payment permanently eliminates your freedom. Without a cash flow safety net, you cannot take a career risk, walk away from a bad job, negotiate firmly for a higher salary, or launch a new business. Because debt limits your choices so severely, it leads people to abandon long-term financial planning, treating it as a one-time setup that they never revisit. Wealthy individuals treat their financial plans very differently. They conduct rigorous annual reviews, checking their net worth, rebalancing asset allocations, and adjusting savings rates to catch tiny drifts before they compound into major crises. Accepting debt as a normal condition of adulthood and ignoring your plan puts you on an autopilot trajectory. It points you squarely at a lifetime of professional dependence rather than ultimate freedom. To actually counter these structural traps, there is a final, unifying habit you have to adopt: a commitment to serious, systemic financial self-education. Real education does not mean passively consuming the daily news cycle. It means deliberately reading foundational books on financial history, the mechanics of business, and behavioral psychology. This deep historical perspective is the only force durable enough to counter the constant social pressures and cognitive vulnerabilities that drive you toward poor financial choices. The divide between the financially free and dependent is rarely determined by raw intelligence or luck. It is dictated by daily and visible habits. True financial independence is available to you right now. It is achieved through the quiet, patient replacement of these default behaviors with the automated habits of the 5%.